Hello again, everybody. This is Craig Evans of Autism Hangout, and thank you for tuning into this Autism Hangout feature program series, Apps for Autism. Parents and teachers of kids in the spectrum are continuing to discover the effectiveness of computers as learning and communications aids. Excellent autism apps for the iPad are coming out daily, and today's guest has yet another remarkable offering. With me today is David Niemeijer. Now, David is the founder of Assistiveware, the manufacturer of Prolo to Go. Assistiveware is an Amsterdam-based software company meeting the needs of challenged individuals, especially those with autism. And so I'm delighted to have back today's guest, David Niemeijer. David, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, today we're going to talk about your new product called Pictello, but before we get to that, could you give us an update on Prolo to Go? How many applications, installations are out there today?
I don't know the exact numbers, but it runs into the thousands.
Yeah, that is absolutely remarkable.
Wildly popular. And
yes.
Continues to be so.
Are we looking at possibly a revision of that anytime soon? Or?
Yes. Hopefully this week we'll submit a new version to Apple that will add word prediction.
Very good.
So it's really geared to those users who want to use the keyboard and do typing, and we want them to have a faster and quicker way of doing that. So we're building in the same word prediction engine that we already have on our Mac product called Keystrokes, and we're porting that to the iOS and adding that to Prolo to Go.
Your products keep evolving, and they're for continued use, and thank you for doing that. Okay.
It's a pleasure to serve the people that need these kind of solutions. So obviously also this will be a free update.
Very good. Well, let's talk about Pictello. What is Pictello?
Pictello is an application for making and sharing visual stories. Visual stories that consist of a number of pages or slides, each with a picture, and that's typically a photo, and some text at the top and at the bottom, optionally. You can use your own voice to record the narration, or you can use the text-to-speech, which can read the labels you put at the top and the bottom of the slides.
And to make it more interesting, they can read in several different voices.
Yeah, you can choose between, by default there's Heather and Ryan included, but you can download additional voices. There are also UK voices, and we plan to add more in the near future.
Okay, how easy is it to add your own photos or your own artwork?
If you have photos or artwork on your iPod or iPad, right from inside Pictello you can choose those and build your story around them. If you have an iPod Touch latest generation or an iPhone, you can actually go out and make pictures right from inside Pictello and add them to your story. Some people who have an iPad and want to use photos that they haven't synced yet to their device, they can use the camera module that Apple has to hook up a camera. And there are actually a few apps out there that allow you to send a photo right from your iPhone to your iPad. So that's another way to get photos onto your iPad.
Are there any age or speech or reading requirements to use Pictello?
Not really. We've designed it so that almost everything is visual. We have icons representing the key features. You can assign a photo to the story, and you can create folders of stories, and again use a photo to help people find the stories. In those cases where there are certain functions that you must use, there's typically a help button that you can press and it will speak and explain what to do. I guess the only place where you really need to be able to read and write is if you are creating a story, you have to give it a title. But once you've done that, you can do it completely without being able to read and write. Obviously, if you cannot write, you cannot put labels on your slides, but instead you can just record some audio. At the same time, for those people who can read and write but cannot speak, having the text-to-speech is really easy because you can type some text and it will speak that text when the page is shown.
I have a demo here that I'd actually like to show the Autism Hangout audience. This demo was done by Gary James. Gary James, as you may remember seeing him previously here on Autism Hangout, reviews apps for kids on the spectrum. His website is called A4CWSN, and that's an acronym that stands for Apps for Children with Special Needs. Let's take a look at that.
So let's go into Wizard, and let's call this the zoo. So let's just go ahead and add a page. So page one of the zoo. Let's choose this big birdie. So we pick the picture, and what we're going to say is big bald bird, and the bottom label is he was really grumpy. So what you can do is you can have this
big bald bird.
Text with voice header is one way to have it say that. You can choose a different voice, Ryan or Heather. We'll leave it on Heather. Or you can make a recording. So it will say what you want to do. For this demonstration, we'll leave the text on Heather just so you get the idea of that, and move on to the next page. So let's add a page, and use this picture of a crocodile. We'll save that. The croc was very lazy. He slept all day. We will make a recording. So what we're going to do is press record. The croc was very lazy. He slept all day. And we'll save that. We will add another page, choose a picture, go to the zoo, and let's have a look at the sheep. Let's change this over to Ryan. And you can see the story now appears in the sample stories. The zoo.
Big bald bird. He was really grumpy.
The croc was very lazy. He slept all day.
Woolly sheep. He was so soft.
And there you go. So there's a very simple demonstration of how to make the story on wizard mode. Imagine it doesn't just have to be a story, it can actually be like a social story. Let's say your child has to get in a routine of what he does in the morning when he gets up. So he gets up, he goes and brushes his teeth, he washes the sink, he washes his face, he brushes his hair, he gets dressed, he puts his socks on, he puts his shoes on, and so on and so forth. So you can make a page for each one of those.
Pictello is great for an individual that wishes to work on their own, but this thing was also designed for the sharing of memories, not only with family, but are you finding that teachers like to use this tool as an instructive tool?
Well, we're seeing quite a few schools making use of Apple's volume purchase program, which means that they can get apps, if they buy 20 or more of a particular app, they get a 50% discount. So we know it's being used in schools. It's a relatively young app. It came out in October. Mm-hmm. So we don't really have that much information on who exactly is using it, where and how, unless people share this with us. With iTunes, when you buy something, the developer of the app is not informed that you bought something. They're only informed that someone bought something.
Yeah.
So we do not have direct contact with the people who buy. We don't know exactly who they are unless they contact us.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means we sometimes hear from schools, we sometimes hear from individuals. but that's like the tip of the iceberg. At this stage, we don't have any like case studies that schools have provided us about how they're exactly using it in classroom. We just know that it's used quite a bit in classroom.
And actually, that's where I'd like to put a call out to the audience at Autism Hangout. I know that of the 1,000 plus members, an enormous percentage are teachers and educators. And I would like to encourage you teachers and educators that are working with either Prolo-Quo2Go or this new product, Pictello, that you would report back on your usage, the success or the failure that you might have had to David, because that's only going to make the product better, and it's going to allow the rest of us to learn how to use this product in a more applicable manner. David, let's take a moment right now. Your web address is www.assistiveware.com, but is there a place or an email address that teachers could send these comments?
Yeah, it would be support@assistiveware.com.
Okay.
And would really look forward to this kind of feedback. From the feedback we've been receiving so far, we are already busy at implementing a number of changes. And one of the things that people have asked for classroom use is to be able to present stories on a projector or a whiteboard.
Yes.
So our next update is actually going to have a presentation mode that will allow a student to share their story with the rest of the class by projecting it on the whiteboard or projecting it through a projector. The more feedback we get, the better the product will be, the more it will serve people's needs.
Now, we haven't mentioned it, I think you might have alluded to it, but the products are not just for iPad, they're also for iPhone and iTouch, is that correct?
Yes, you can run Pictello and Prolo-Quo2Go on all those devices. You purchase ones and then can deploy on each of these devices. You're not required to buy a separate HD edition for iPad or anything like that.
Okay, and David, we talked today about Pictello. Where can people go to get more information about Pictello?
Actually, the best place to go is just go to the Assistiveware.com homepage, and you'll find a link right on the front page that takes you to the Pictello section.
And you also have tutorials as to how the product can be used.
Yeah, we have a whole series of tutorials. Let me have a quick look here. I think we have something like 7 or 8 tutorials right now that really step-by-step guide you through the process of using Pictello.
Very good.
One of the fun features of Pictello is also the sharing part. You can very easily share a story over the internet with someone else. You submit it to a sharing server, which is a free service we offer. You get back a 8-digit code that you can then email to someone else who has Pictello, types in that code and gets the story. And this can work in the same room, but also across the Atlantic.
My goodness, that's wonderful. David, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for continuing to evolve your existing products and give us new products that are going to help us communicate with our kids. It's very much appreciated.
Well, it's really a very pleasant community to work for, and we really enjoy making these products, and we enjoy even more hearing back from people. On the one hand, what they wish, on the other hand, how already the software is really making a difference for them and for their children.
So that's
well, one final remark I wanted to make is that we really designed Pictello not just to be for people with autism. We really designed it to be something that everyone can use with their kids, that can be used for a wide variety of uses. And so it's something that we hope will bring a lot of fun to a lot of families with or without children with autism.
very good. David, thank you for coming on today and telling us about Pictello.
Well, it was my pleasure. Thank you
And
for having me on board.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And Autism Hangout, you can help David make his products better, especially you teachers. Send him your stories as to how you're using Prolo-Quo2Go. And if you use Pictello, give him some feedback on that product as well. Until next time, thanks Autism Hangout. I'll see you again soon.